Back here with Mike's Mustang Repairs, and today we're going to be looking at this 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander, and specifically the airbag recall and the steps that are taken in order to fix that. We're just going to double check and make sure the dealership does it correctly and to our satisfaction. So let's get after it. Quality document, they show that there's 111,000 vehicles covered by this non-compliance recall, and then 1,400 in Puerto Rico. So quite a significant number. There are 51 steps in the manual to do this repair, and after we're going to do the vehicle repair quality. So you're going to make sure there's no codes, confirm the seat belts and adjusters are working properly, confirm all interior lights are operating correctly, the rear wiper, camera, and washer are all operating correctly, the rear HVAC is operating correctly, and then of course they'll check if the airbags have been scanned into the system. We'll skip that step, but this is what we're going to be looking for. The parts they're going to use are the new left hand and right hand airbag assembly, as well as 4 pillar garnishes, and then some tape. We'll work through the steps. I won't show each and every one of these, but we'll just kind of demonstrate on the Highlander what they're going to do. So the first step is going to be to remove this weather stripping, and then the second is going to be to remove this left-hand pillar right there. Once inside, they're going to remove this tether bolt, and then the wire harnesses, washer fluids, and antennas. Step 7 and 8, they'll remove this sun visor by twisting it and pulling out, and then they'll remove this rear mirror and this center console piece up here. The next step will be to remove this B pillar right here. They'll remove the same pieces on this side, and inclusive of this handle, so there's bolts behind here that they'll need to get to, and then of course the weather stripping and the A and B pillar down here. They'll move to the back and they'll remove this weather stripping once again. And it's interesting to note that they actually call out things that they think can potentially get damaged, highlighted in there. There are handles in the back they'll have to work around. They'll take those out similarly to the front, and then these lights and vents. Steps 18 and 19, they'll remove this quarter panel trim here, and then they'll also need to remove that pillar right there. In the back, they actually have to remove the rear air duct, if it's applicable. Back here, it says to unfasten and let the window trim hang, and it specifically says don't remove it, so not sure what that's about, but that's what it says. And finally, they'll work through removing this seatbelt harness as well. Step 25 is to remove this entire headliner from the car. It says it takes 3 people to remove, and they make sure that you don't crack, damage, or mutilate this in any way. I'm really interested to see how dirty it gets, given that this is a very light headliner, and so interested to see what they do here. I'm hoping for the best. Step 26 is to remove the negative battery terminal. Makes sense, they're working on the airbags. They don't want them to accidentally discharge. Then they walk through removing the curtain shield airbags and the documentation steps of the process. Now that the airbags are installed, they go ahead and start the reassembly process. They're going to reconnect the negative battery terminal, and then I don't know what this is about, but covering the butyl on the left hand side with tape. So seems like a really important step. Don't think we can check that as a consumer, but it's in here. And then note the importance of using 3 people to install the headliner again. And I mean, it's massive, so interested to see there how that works. They'll just work their way backwards. They'll go from the back of the car, the rear of the car. They'll start putting the seatbelt assemblies back together, the pillar trim pieces, and all of those trim pieces, headliner. So interested to see how the sunroof plays out, and just any damage or potential damage that gets done to the car. We'll see. I hope they can do well. We'll have a look. And then finally, here's the list of things that you really want to check. It makes sense given what they're replacing and working on. So once again, no codes, no error codes on the dash. Seatbelts, adjusters are working fine. Interior lights are working fine. And then the rear wiper, camera, and washer are all working correctly.